Hello, welcome to my first ever actual video on this YouTube channel. And the first ever YouTube video on this YouTube channel will be about snails and how to care for snails. You might think they're probably the easiest pet in the world, but they kinda are a little difficult. They are really easy, low maintenance, but there's a lot of things you need for them so that they can live good, happy, long lives. So what you're gonna want for snails is at least a gallon per snail. I have 4 snails in here, but this is a 2-gallon tank right here, so I should be upgrading to a 4-gallon tank, but I do not have the money for that right now. They're funding a 2-gallon at the moment. What are you gonna want in your tank? Well, you're gonna need at least 2 inches of dirt. I don't know how many inches this is, but you're gonna want a lot of dirt because snails like to dig. I have one snail who loves digging, and I can never find him because I always have to dig to find him. He's always in the dirt. The soil that I use is from the brand Creatures, and it's called Creature Soil, and it's good for snails. My snails love it. So far I haven't had any problems with the Creature Soil, so I'd recommend that. Make sure it is dirt that is safe for snails. Do your research before you buy the dirt, and don't buy dirt that has pesticides in it because snails are considered pests. Next up, for the inside of the enclosure, you're going to want to have sphagnum moss. It's really good for snails and they love it, and it'll keep the enclosure nice and moist because snails like it to be a little wet. Look at this little guy right there, he's so cute. Speaking of snails liking it wet, you're going to need to spray it once or twice a day. I usually spray mine like 3 times a day because I don't want my snails to dry up, and my snails like it pretty moist. Next up, you're going to want something like this. This is spider wood. It looks nice and snails like to climb on it, and it looks nice in the enclosure, so I recommend it. Next up, I recommend hides. I make my own. I make them out of air-dried clay. Snails really like to hide in them. Snails really like to hide in general because they are prey animals, so making them and putting hides in there is really good for them for hiding and whatnot. Then you're going to want leaf litter. I use fresh leaves, but most people recommend using dry or dead leaves. They will eat the moss and leaves that you put in there, but you're gonna want a separate bowl of food as well. That involves vegetables, fruits, and calcium. Here's a bowl of what I am about to feed my snails. It has chopped up carrots, a tomato, cuttlebone, and some fish food. For snails, you're going to want to feed them 70% vegetables, 20% fruits, and 10% proteins. And they will need a constant source of calcium. 70% of their diet should be vegetables. My snails really like carrots and tomatoes, but you can also give them sweet potatoes. And I heard snails really like lettuce, but lettuce is not that good for them. I will post a list of different vegetables that snails like and can eat. For the 20% of fruits, snails really like apples and strawberries. And then you're gonna need protein. For protein, I use goldfish food. My snails seem to like it, and it gives them a good source of protein, and you're gonna wanna give them protein at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. For calcium, you can use crushed up chicken eggs or cuttlebone. They are both really good sources of calcium for your snails, and they're really good for your snails. Personally, I use cuttlebone for my snails. They seem to enjoy it. I recommend changing the food out every day because tomatoes and strawberries and stuff like that can go bad really quickly, and that can be bad for your snails. And yeah, you don't want that to happen because mold can be really bad for your snails, and you want your snails to live. So yeah, that's my snail video. All this information is for only garden snails. I don't know anything about giant African land snails because they are illegal in the US, and I don't know anything about aquatic snails. I only know things about garden snails because that's the only kind of snails that I own and have ever owned and probably will ever own. But yeah, you can find snails in your backyard to keep. If you do that, they might not live that long because they're not from a breeder, and you don't know how old the snail is before you get it, and it could be really old. So I suggest getting your snails from a breeder, which I should have done, but I didn't. I just found my snails outside because I don't have money. I'm just a kid. But I really suggest that if you do have money, just buy a snail, because it might be a better idea, and your snails will definitely live longer. So yeah, that's the end of my video. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to, I guess.